I'm going to share with you today some data on the Coral Gables market, which is in Miami, Florida. And today is June 24th. I'm going to share with you the May data from last year and this year, just so you could see the differences. I'm going to share my screen with you in a bit. And I'm also going to share with you what's going on so far in June compared to last year in June. So keep in mind too, when we look at this data, always be cognizant of what was happening during this time last year. So in May and June of last year in 2020, we were in our second full and third full month of COVID, meaning most places in the US started shutting down, sheltering in place in March, probably the middle of March of last year. I always think, like, even though this isn't the exact time because every place was a little bit different, I remember like the biggest time when people really, really knew that COVID was, quote unquote, a thing when the Final Four, March Madness and the NCAA basketball season, when they canceled it, and then all of a sudden the NBA canceled it, and their season, or they delayed it, I guess, because they had, they played in the bubble later. But so March, the middle of March, is a good time when we think of like when COVID was really starting to hit home. So if we're going to look at the March data, the May data, that's roughly, a month, month and a half, 2 months since that time. And so obviously at that time, there was more uncertainty. I guess that's the best way I could put it, when people didn't know what was going on. So people didn't know that the real estate market would get really hot and there'd be so little inventory and so many other changes. So with that said, let me share my screen with you. So if you've seen my other videos in the past, this is a tool that we use, that real estate agents use. It's a great tool. It's called Trend Graphics. Trend Graphics is really good for probably 95% of the data, because it uses, and that 95% is just my estimate, it uses all the data from the multiple listing service, from the MLS, for sales that closed, that were, that came on the market and stuff like that. So it'll show all this data. What it's not going to show are for sale by owner properties, new construction properties. It's not going to show how many of those came on the market. It's not going to show how many of those properties didn't sell. It's not going to show how many of those actually closed. But there's very, very few that are part of that data. So this data should give you a really, really good perspective of what's going on. So today I'm going to share with you Coral Gables, like I mentioned in the beginning. So we're going to start first. Let me share with you the legend and how it is. So the first sale, this color green is for how many listings were available for sale. This darker green are the ones that sold, and this red are pending sales. So scrolling down, I'm looking at Coral Gables. I'm looking at only single family homes. I'm going to look at condos, townhouses, separate, and then I'm going to look at combined Coral Gables. And then after that, I'm going to go on the MLS and show you what's going on in June, because this is just going to go up to May. So this is single family homes in Coral Gables. There's no price limit, lower or higher, just all scopes of that. I'm going from March of 2020 to May of 2021, and it's all square footage. Just, there are no limitations. So I'm going to show you the chart. So if we go back to May of 2020, we had 362 properties on the market. Compare that to 158 that were there a year later. So less than half of that was on the market. In May, there were 30 that sold. In May of this year, 76. So roughly 2.5 times the amount sold. And pending, there there were 52 pending, and right now we have 99 pending, so almost double. So just to make it really easy, we have this market highlight thing, and the best way to look at it is comparing it to last year, and basically homes for sale in May 2021, 158 units. That was down 56.4% compared to last year. And when I go over this data, I'm always aware of the fact that some people could care less about data, and they ask, at the end of the day, how does this data affect me? And I'm going to share with you that at the end. So if you're not one of the types of personalities that really likes all this data, I apologize for that. One of the things about real estate is there's so many different ways of sharing data, and I'm going to do my best to share it both ways. Okay. So this is first for the data, people that crave data. So I'm going to share that with you first. So bottom line is May of this year compared to May of last year, we're down 56% of properties for sale. Amount of properties closed, even though that there's more than 56% less on the market, we still had 153.3% sell compared to last year, much higher number. And homes placed under contract, this is also known as pending sales. And so we have 90.4% more than last year, even though we have much less inventory to sell. So let's go to the next step. So that's just single family homes. So Coral Gables is mixed with single family homes and condos and townhomes. So this is going to be the same data, but just condos and townhomes. So let's pull this up and we'll do it. The easiest way, let me just pull the market highlights. So in May of this year, we were down 36.6% of units for sale compared to last year. We're up 327% of properties sold this year compared to last year. And if you see the number, the numbers are in there, and I'll go down to the graph to show you, last year compared to this year. And homes placed under contract, pending status, almost 4 times as many this year as opposed to last year. So let's take a better look at that. So last year, there were 216 homes for sale in May. And then this year in May, we have 137 for sale. Last year, there were only 11 properties that sold in May. And we have 47 that were sold. So a huge number over last year. There were only 10 pending sales then. We have 49, huge numbers. So like I mentioned, I'm going to share with you, let me do total before I get to June. I'm going to just do, all single family homes, condos in Coral Gables with no other price, with no other categories, just everything opened. So with that said, in May of last year, let's go to the highlights and we'll do it again like the other one. So May of 2021, and it shows like it's a seller's market. We have way less inventory, and I'll get into some of this a little bit later, whether it's in this video or another one. So we have 49%. So if we look at combined single family homes, condos, townhomes, all in Coral Gables and all price points, we have 49% less properties for sale. Also, sorry about that, we have 200% more homes sold than last year. And we have 138.7% properties that are under contract. So let's go to the numbers. So in May of last year, combined properties for sale, single family homes, townhomes, and condos, and villas. Villas are also, basically they're like townhomes and they're single story. So we had 578 properties for sale in May of last year, and we have 295 for sale May of this year. We have 41 that were sold last year in May, and we have 123 that were sold this year. We also have 62 that were pending sales, and we have 148 that are pending sales. So huge differences. So I'm going to pull up June. So I'm going to pull up the MLS. So I'm going to do a search, and let me do search, and let me do close sales. I'm not going to break it down like I did before. I will, because I know that we have everyone, the viewers that we have are looking at all different types of things. So just like I showed you that data, I will show you the data now. So if I go to from 6/1/2020 to today's the 24th, but I'm going to go to the 23rd because the 24th isn't over. And I go to the 20th, and I look for closed sales, and let's do all properties for sale, and let's do everything. So we have last year, and let's go to Coral Gables. Let's go to city, Coral Gables. So last year, excuse me, from June 1st to June 23rd, combined properties sold, we had 31. So if I go to this, let's make this a little bit less clunky if I can. If I go to this year, we have 105. So from 31, if I'm not mistaken, I may have got that number wrong. I'm getting older. My short-term memory is not that good. But if we go to 31, assuming that number was correct or close to it, 31, and this year we have 105. So more than 3 times the number of sales. So let's break that down to single families. So let's go from this year. So this year so far, we have 73 homes sold in the first 23 days of March, single family homes. Let's go to last year. And let's change this. So we have 23, and I'm sorry, we have 26, and I believe it was 73. Boy, my memory is getting bad, but let's do this properly. 21. $73, huge difference. So now let me go to condos. It's all of these. And if I go to this year, we have 32 of those. Obviously, because it's COVID, we're getting less single family homes sold than condos because more people want the space, but it's starting to change. We're getting a lot of condos sold. So, okay, so let's remember this. 32 properties sold this year in the first 23 days of June. And let's go to June of last year. Only 5. What a difference. Huge, huge difference. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do combined both of them. Single family homes, condos, just check all the properties. So last year, combined properties, single family homes and condos in Coral Gables, first 23 days of the month in 2020, there were 31 sold. So if I go to, let's go to 2021, do the same thing. And we have 105. Huge, huge difference. And the breakdown was like how you saw it. So anyways, if I went too fast with those numbers, I apologize. What I would recommend is if you're really, really into data, make sure to pause the recording and just check them out and look at the differences. So what does this mean? We see all these numbers. I'm sharing with you all this data that for some of you makes total sense, and some of you, it's just information overload. So what does it mean? This is what it means. If you are in a buyer, we are in a market where every month going forward until we see a change, and I'm going to be doing these videos every single month so you can get a better idea. But and I would recommend subscribing to this channel, hitting the bell, getting all the notifications, because I'm not just going to be sharing data on Coral Gables, but multiple other information. I'm going to tell you, if you're a buyer, maybe you should not buy, or maybe you should buy. If you're a seller, should you sell or should you not? I'm always going to keep it real with you guys, because if I give you the best data out there, you're going to make an informed decision. And most of our business, we're the All in Miami group, and most of our business is from people that we don't know yet, that watch our videos or go on social media and see us on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn and learn from us and then reach out to us. Because if we empower you with data, it's going to help you get more for your money. And we're going to share data with you like you are our family. Anyways, enough of that. So if you are a seller right now in Coral Gables, what does this mean? It means that you could be probably a little bit more unrealistic with what you want than a year or two ago. It means that there's less and less inventory. It means that if you sell your home today, excuse me, getting a little scratch on my nose, but if you put your home on the market today compared to last year or the year before, there's a much better chance, as long as your home is priced within reason. So what does within reason mean? It means that, it means you do the research. It means if you have an agent, they do the research and they can really get an idea of what's on the market, what's pending, what are the pending sales in your area, what are the other options for a buyer looking, the most motivated buyer who's getting the notifications every day, what is your competition? That's what, relatively priced means within reason. So as long as you put your property and you price it within reason using actual data, there's a good chance you're going to get more than you ever could get for your property. There's a good chance that you're going to get multiple offers. And there's a good chance that that buyer is going to be way, way more lenient on your move out date. They're going to be way, way more lenient on your on the condition of your property, meaning they'll do inspections, but they may waive their inspections, or they may even say, they may do the inspections and say, okay, whatever, we'll take it as is. They're going to be a lot more lenient than in the past. Then probably in a year or two, when the market slows down, and each month, because I'm sharing data with you, I'll be able to let you know prior to the market slowing down, with basically being in the quote unquote battlefield, being on the ground, knowing what's happening day to day. Me, Vico, Jade, Will, the rest of the team, knowing what's going on prior to it happening. We're going to be sharing with you these insights so you'll know what's happening to the market, so you can probably be more informed about what's going on before you actually see things slow down tremendously. But with that said, if you're a seller, your buyers are going to be way more flexible with the terms that they give you, whether it's move out, whether it's appraisal contingency, whether it's an inspection contingency, whatever, just multiple things. You're going to be able to cherry pick. Again, if your property is priced within reason, you're going to be able to cherry pick the best offers, and you're going to be in a very, very good position compared to any other time in history selling your home. As far as being a buyer, unless you're in the market and you're willing to, be flexible on those other things that I just mentioned, as far as the move out date for the seller, as far as inspection and appraisal contingencies, being, willing to pay over the asking price, willing to compete with other offers. Unless you're willing to do that, do not buy a property now. this is the absolute worst time to buy a property if you aren't flexible on those things. I'm not saying prices are going to go down in the future or rates are going to go down in the future, but if you are, if you're not flexible on those other items, it's going to drive you crazy, because there's certain things I can control. There's certain things a buyer or seller control, but there's one thing that none of us can control, is the market and the decisions your competing buyers or sellers are making in this market. So with that said, if you guys ever have any questions, whether you're in the market or you're not, whether you want us to help you or not, we are always willing to help you. We're always willing to share information. We can speak to you on the phone 30 minutes, an hour. It doesn't matter. There's never any pressure to do business, and we're not going to ask you to do business. If you feel that we're the team that you want to work with, that will give you all this information, meaning after you buy the home or sell the home, help with other things, recommendations for handymen, even tutors, even like doctors to go to, anything, besides just the sale of the property, we're there for you. So again, never any pressure to contact us to do business with us. We want to help you as much as we can. And just like I said, again, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell for all the notifications so you can get all the information, and share this video with a friend who may be in the market now or maybe in the near future. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Love you guys.